Some things that they need to just step back to do, but others will require some education. Oh, speaking of education, thanks for sharing that. That was there is, absolutely.
Thank you all for coming. I'll call this meeting to order. Welcome to the April 13th, 2026 Town Board meeting. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first on the agenda is a public hearing. It's for the draft stormwater management plan and the 2026 municipal separate storm sewer system progress reports. That's what all that SWMP stands for and the MS4 stands for. So I'll open this public hearing at 6:33. Please step up to the mic, give us your name and address, and address the board, and give us your comments. Anyone? Seeing no one, I'll close this public hearing at 6:34. Next is a consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for the March 17th, 2026 work session and the March 2020, did I say March 20, the March 17th, 2026 work session and the March 23rd, 2026 town board meeting, along with the abstract of claims for April 13th, 2026?
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is audience one, an opportunity to address the board on any items on this agenda. Please step up to the mic, give us your name and address, and your thoughts.
Howdy, I'm Evan Roden at 2037 Grover in West Falls. I'm commenting on Local Law 5, which is the solar energy systems law. It would ban utility scale solar across the town using a few mechanisms. It would prevent farmers from putting solar on their land by restricting solar use to only commercial zones and industrial zones. And it would limit the size of solar even on those industrial zones, which are very few in the town, by putting an acreage cap in place, which would mean that utility scale solar, so like 10, 15, 20 megawatts, which the state recommends, wouldn't be possible. I think this is a bad choice for a couple of reasons. One, I think that we're a right to farm community, not a you must farm community. If a farmer decides they want to put solar on their land, who cares? They can do what they want. Two, I think that this law will be ineffective because the State Office of Renewable Energy Siting specifically identifies that if a town or municipality places a law that is too restrictive on solar, any large-scale solar construction, 20 megawatts or higher, can go directly to them and ask that they nullify the town's rules and go directly with state siting. So any solar provider would just go to the state and say, Aurora has laws that are too restrictive, I don't want to do that, and would be able to ignore all of your rules. So not just the ones that restrict solar, but also the ones that say you have to have a setback from a school, or the ones that say you have to have barriers around it. And then my third point is that, this impinges on people's freedom. If a farmer wants to do something with their land, if the land is unproductive, and they'd like to put some solar panels up for a year or two while they let their crops recover, I think that that should be their right. So I encourage the town board to reconsider banning utility scale solar through Local Law 5. Thank you.
I'll just give a quick comment on that for everyone. We just approved the comprehensive plan, and we will be looking at that again as time goes on. So, anyone else want to address the board on anything on the agenda?
Jackie Heinrich, 488 Snyder Road. I'm referencing the road test for Snyder Road. As you know, I've submitted a petition signed by residents of Snyder Road, Luther Road, Mitchell Road, because they use Snyder Road and Luther Road to get to Mitchell Road. They walk it, they bicycle it, they drive it, obviously. And for you to limit it just to Snyder Road is not going to work. Luther Road has just as many speed idiots as Snyder Road does. For them to drive down Luther Road at 45, which means they're going to go 55, and then they're going to hit Snyder Road and they're going to reduce their speed, I highly doubt that. The purpose of the petition is to try to get the traffic to be reduced. Further, 40 miles an hour is not going to work. We have chickens. That's part of mine. Wait a minute. 40 miles an hour is not going to work. Right now, we're at 45. You know darn well, they're doing 55 plus. At 40, they're going to do 50 plus. We get it down to 35, I might be able to get the actual police to patrol Snyder Road and Luther Road and like maybe give a few tickets one or now and then. We've asked for patrol, nothing has happened. In addition there too, Mill Road, Sweet Road, Davis Road, West Falls Road is all 35. Why should we be subject to 40? Further, I highly doubt the police are going to be interested in patrolling our road at 40 miles an hour. Again, people are going to be doing 49, 50. They're not going to be interested. They're not interested at 45. So I would strongly ask you to please include Luther Road in the road study. And most importantly, we have to protect our chickens, don't we, Chuck? And thank you for the chickens.
Yeah, guinea hens.
The guinea hens. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I agree on what you just said. Luther Road should be 35 miles an hour, no question about it.
Seeing no one else, I'll close. Or we'll move on to the next, which is, yeah, I know, he said he agrees.
Okay.
If you can't come up to the mic, you know what? Next is unfinished business, which we have our 7 local laws. And I want to just preface this by saying when we say seeker, it stands for State Environmental Quality Review. I will do my best to say that as we go along, but it's going to get a little repetitive, but I want everyone to understand that that means State Environmental Quality Review, along with NYCRR, which stands for New York Code Rules and Regulations. Okay? Just so everyone understands that. First, it's local law number 1, which is Chapter 35, Alarms and Systems. I'll just read the now therefore be it resolved. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the seeker review of proposed local law 1-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on its review by the EAF, the assessment fund, or assessment, what's that stand for? Easy. Yeah, assessment form. And the criteria of 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7, the town board determines that the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under NYCRR 617.7. Be it further resolved that the resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have a motion to adopt the State Environmental Quality Review for Local Law 1-2026 RE regarding Chapters 35 alarm systems?
So moved.
Motion by Jess. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And next is the adoption of the local law. I'll read the therefore be it resolved. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law 1-2026, the Alarm Systems Code of the Town of Aurora, Erie County, State of New York, and be it further resolved that the existing Chapter 35 alarm systems is repealed and replaced and set forth in the local law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have a motion to adopt Local Law 1, 2026, Chapter 35, Alarms and System?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. This is a roll call vote, and I will ask our town clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Rosin?
Approved.
Aye.
Sorry.
Councilmember Armbrust? Aye. Councilmember McCann?
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? No. All in favor is everyone? Unanimous? Motion carried. Next is the Local Law 2, ponds. I'll read the, now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the seeker review and of proposed law 2-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on the review of the EAF that the criteria of 6 NYCRR Chapter 617.7, the town board determines the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under 6 NYCCR. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Jess. Comments and discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Now I'll read the adoption of the local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law number 2-2026, the Ponds Code of the Town of Aurora, Erie County, State of New York, and be it further resolved that the existing Section 2 of Chapter 87 Ponds is repealed and replaced and set forth in the local law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jess. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussions? This is a roll call vote again. I will ask our town clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Rosin?
Aye.
Councilmember Armbrust? Aye. Councilmember McCann?
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder?
Aye. As all are in favor, motion carried. Next is Chapter 3, sewers. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the seeker review of the proposed law number 3-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on review that the EAF and the criteria in 6 NYCRR Chapter 617.7, the town board determines the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under 6 NYCRR Chapter 617.7. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have a motion to adopt the State Environmental Quality Review for Local Law 3-2026?
So moved.
Motion by Ray. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And now, the adoption of the local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law number 3-2026, the Sewers Code of the Town of Aurora, Erie County, State of New York, and be it further resolved that Article 1 of Chapter 93, Sewers, Section 1, Definitions is amended as set forth in the local law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess, comments or discussion? Again, this is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Rosin.
Aye.
Councilmember Armbrust. Aye. Councilmember McCann.
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder.
Aye. Motion carried. Next is the site plan. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the seeker review of the proposed local law number 4-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on its review by the EAF, the criteria in 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7, the town board determines that the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jess, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, and now the adoption of the local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law number 4-2026, the site plan review code of the town of Aurora, Erie County, the state of New York, and be it further resolved that the existing Chapter 95 site plan review is repealed and replaced as set forth in the local law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? Again, this is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Rosin.
Aye.
Councilmember Armbrust. Aye. Councilmember McCann.
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder.
Aye. Motion carried. Next is the solar energy system. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the seeker review of proposed local law number 5-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on its review of the EAF, the criteria in 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7, the town board determines that the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess.
Yep.
Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And now I'll adopt the local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law number 5-2026, the Solar Energy Systems Code of the town of Aurora, Erie County, and the state of New York. Be it further resolved that the existing Article 1 of Chapter 95A, Solar Energy Systems, and Article 2 of Chapter 95A, Section 8, Special Use Permit Requirements, are repealed and replaced as set forth in the local law. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all necessary actions to effectuate this resolution. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jess, can I have a second?
I will second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? This is a roll call vote. Jeannie?
Councilmember Rosin.
Aye.
Councilmember Armbrust. Aye. Councilmember McCann.
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder.
Aye. Motion carried. And just a couple more.
Hey, while you're looking that up, I just want to say thanks to everybody. This is boring as heck to everybody in the audience, but this represents a lot of work by our attorney, our clerk, our supervisor, our code enforcement officer. It's dry stuff, but it's important stuff, and thanks for everybody who put all that work into it.
Thank you for that, Jay. All right, now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the seeker review for the proposed local law number 6-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on review of the EAF, that the criteria in 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7, the town board determines that the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And I'll read the local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law number 6-2026, the subdivision of land and open development area code of the town of Aurora, Erie County, state of New York. Be it further resolved that Article 2, Section 6 of Article 6, Section 31 of Chapter 99 are repealed and replaced as set forth in the local law. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Rosen.
Aye.
Councilmember Armbrust.
Aye.
Councilmember McCann.
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder.
Aye. Okay, last one of these. This is for local law number 7, Chapter 116 zoning. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board declares itself lead agency for the secret review of proposed local law number 7-2026, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law is classified as an unlisted action under seeker, and be it further resolved that based on its review of the EAF and the criteria in 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7, the town board determines the proposed local law will not have a significant adverse environmental impact and issues a negative declaration under 6 NYCRR, Chapter 617.7, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jess, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, and I'll read the adoption of the local law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board adopts local law number 7-2026, the zoning code of the town of Aurora, Erie County, state of New York, and be it further resolved that Article 1 of Chapter 116, Section 4 definitions is amended and Sections 8.5D, Subchapter 3, and 8.5E, Subchapter 3, and 8.6E, Subchapter 3, are permanently rescinded and set forth in the local law, and be it further resolved that the town clerk is authorized to file the local law with the Secretary of State and take all actions necessary to effectuate this resolution, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? Work your magic, Jeannie.
Councilmember Rosen.
Aye.
Councilmember Armbrust.
Aye.
Councilmember McCann.
Aye.
Supervisor Snyder.
Aye. Thank you all for putting up with that. Next is a resolution regarding the baseball shed, if you will. I'll read this real quick because this is kind of neat. Whereas Dan Mursky of East Aurora Baseball and Softball has submitted a site plan review of application to place a pre-built shed on the community park property adjacent to the snack shack and utilize it for storage of equipment and field maintenance of supplies at 690 South Street, East Aurora, New York. And whereas on April 1st, 2026, a meeting of the Aurora Town Board recommended approval. And whereas the site plan application and documents were sent to Erie County Department of Environmental and Planning for review, who cascaded it to the Erie County Department of Public Works and stated no concerns. And whereas code enforcement officer determined this to be a type 2 action under seeker and does not require a determination by the town board, now therefore be it resolved that the site plan for the property at 690 South Street, East Aurora, New York, to place a pre-built shed at the community pool park property is approved by the town board. Can I have a motion to adopt that resolution?
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion?
It wasn't entirely clear in the motion, but EA Baseball purchased that shed and donated it to the town, and they are a wonderful organization, one of many wonderful organizations we're lucky to have in our community.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to you and Jess for working with them on this. It's
We had the-
definitely an asset.
We had the easy part, for sure.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
listening.
Just listening, exactly.
Show up and be supportive.
All right, that's good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, as the term was not stated in the previous local law, this is for the highway superintendent's wage increase. We have to do the local law over, and we're essentially starting from the beginning. So can I have a motion to set a public hearing on April 27th, 2026 at 6:30 PM at Aurora Municipal Center for an opportunity for all parties to hear the local law 8, 2026, the salary increase for the highway superintendent.
So moved.
Motion by Jess, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. And this is set another public hearing. Can I have a motion to approve setting a public hearing on the 27th day of April, 2026, at 6:30 PM at the Aurora Municipal Center, at which hearing parties and interested citizens shall have the opportunity to hear public comment on a special use permit and site plan application for a former restaurant and bar to be converted into an indoor play and separate part areas, and the outdoor areas will be used seasonally at 612 Buffalo Road, East Aurora, New York. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? I think this is a fabulous, this is the All-American Grill. I
Yeah.
think this is just a fabulous place for what they're doing, and I appreciate them going for this business in this.
Yeah, it's a win-win. That's a nice space there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We've had
Selling
calls
coffee
on that
in
for
addition,
15 years.
right?
Are they selling coffee too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we'll see how it all pans out, but I think it's just
It's great to
wonderful.
meld all those things together.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And on to new business. But before we do that, we had a last-minute ad. Can I have a motion to add 6N to the agenda, which is a request to register an intern?
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. So, first on our list for new business, there's been considerable confusion and misinformation going around about the assessment of the Roycroft, and I thought it would be good to get our town assessor, Steve Pigeon, and representatives, Joel Kurtzals, from our legal team, who handle our Article 7 cases, to discuss just what happened, what this means, and get the actual facts of the case. So if you don't mind stepping up to the mic and just address the board and give us the truth. Steve, you want to start us off, or?
Want me to? Okay. Joel Kurtzold, 681 Main Street, East Aurora. My understanding from some discussions with you and with Steve was that there were some issues raised at a prior meeting, and there were some concerns about how the whole settlement came
Miss,
about.
could you, with the microphone, just to make sure it's, I can't tell if it's coming through or not. Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
That sounds better.
Okay. So, sum and substance, the Roycroft was sold by the Wendt Foundation to Douglas Development. The paperwork indicated that it was an arm's length transaction. They file a 5217 whenever there's a real estate transaction. The 5217 lists conditions of sale, and people sign that document. It is then filed. So if you're submitting false documents and filing them with the state, it's a criminal offense. That was part of the information that we had to indicate that the sale price was indicative of an openly negotiated transaction. We had no information to indicate that Douglas Development had any inside relationship, so to speak, with the Wendt Foundation. The Wendt Foundation, being a not-for-profit registered in the state of New York, has certain fiduciary obligations. And in order for the Wendt Foundation to have been willing to have sold the property at the price that it sold it at, they would have had to have a majority of the board vote in favor of it. So you're asking for a number of people to have breached their fiduciary obligation if it was other than what was considered to be a fair price. Armed with that, Douglas Development filed the Article 7 challenging its tax assessment. They also had an appraisal for the property from a well-known commercial appraiser in Western New York who's been involved in lots of commercial appraising work, including a lot of Article 7 matters, both on the side of petitioner as well as on the side of respondents. I know I've dealt with him on numerous occasions in the past, and his appraisal figures were reflective of the purchase price. Armed with that information, the town had two choices. They could settle the action, or if they wanted to take it further, then they could get a court-ready appraisal report, probably wait a couple of years by the time you got into court to have the decision made, and then tried the case and see what the court would have decided. There is a rule in real property tax litigation which says that a recent sale in an arm's length transaction is the best evidence of value for what the property is. Having that indicating the purchase price and having the appraisal, it appeared prudent for the town to settle. They could have spent $30,000, $40,000 for an appraisal and the litigation expenses to take it to trial. They could have gone down the road a couple of years and built up the potential for a lot of money in refunds that would have to be paid. It was discussed both ways, considered. Was our recommendation to the town that the smarter way to proceed would be to settle the matter. So the agreement was reached and the matter was settled. It certainly indicated from all of the information that we had and knowing what the courts do with these cases, I've tried many of them over the last 30 years. It seemed like a smart thing and a wise thing for the town, and so that's what happened.
If you could just touch, or one of you would just touch on the difference between the assessed value and the appraised value, because both of those numbers keep flying around, and I think there's a misconception of where one comes from the other.
The assessed value is a number that's put on a property that the taxes are based upon. The assessed value doesn't always indicate market value. In a municipality where there is an equalization rate of less than 100%, you're going to have a difference between the assessment and the perceived market value for the property. So to try to equate one with the other is not appropriate in the town of Aurora, especially because of the significant increase in residential property values over the past number of years. The equalization rate in the town has dropped significantly. And it applies across the board. So even though commercial properties may not have grown in terms of worth or value in the same period of time, and the residential real estate drives that equalization rate figure, you ended up with a very low equalization rate relative to the assessment on the property. So when you look at the market value and you are applying the equalization rate, then you would multiply the equalization rate against the perceived market value, and that would tell you what the assessment would be. So for instance, if you were at 20%, that the assessment value or the equalization rate indicated 20%, then you would multiply $1 million of market value by 20%, you'd end up with $200,000 as your assessment. Yeah. In the reverse of it, if you're looking at the assessed value and you're trying to perceive what the implied market value is, then you divide by the equalization rate. But that's what that is. So they're not always one and the same. So when you had the numbers that you had with respect to the Roycroft, that perceived market value may not have been correct. And in fact, based upon the sale and based upon an appraisal, it certainly looked like it wasn't correct. And so that's why it was done.
And obviously, that equalization rate varies from town to town, so when people talk about that number, sometimes they use the assessed value number for what they think that property is worth. And, a town, 3 towns over, it might be on, 80% of what the...
Yeah, they're all over the board.
They're all over the board. You need to, full market value is the number that you need to focus on, not the assessed.
That's correct. Well, because the assessment is based upon the perceived market value.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just one other thing I want to just clarify is as I understand it, because the One Foundation is a 501c3, right?
They are.
And they don't pay property tax only on the chapel. All the rest of the property, the inn and so on and so forth, the restaurant, they do pay property tax on.
Correct.
Is that correct,
Right.
Steve?
5 South Grove was the only one that was exempt, and then the other properties were taxable.
And that would be because the other properties were being used for commercial purposes, as opposed to for not-for-profit.
And hopefully
Purposes.
making money.
Correct, yeah.
I got a question for you now. Steve, you and I discussed this. And when you speak, could you speak into the mic? Just because we're broadcast on YouTube, and that way,
Sure.
Anybody wants to hear. You had said, and you indicated as well, Mr. Kurtzall, that there was no back penalties. We could have been subject to having to make back penalties. Is that where you have to refund tax dollars? Did I understand that correctly?
If we went to court,
Oh, okay.
The trouble is the courts drag it out, or, the petitioner drags it out for 3 years. So if you drag it out for 3 years, now you're paying refunds, and on those, if the judge made a decision to lower the assessment, so then it's like you're also paying interest on those refunds. So, that could be a lot more substantial than us settling the deal right away, if we actually took it to court, and it went for, 3 years, let's say the judge just cut it in half or whatever. That could have been a potential for way more than, what we even settled it for. So that's why we kind of looked at, if you're going to pay for an appraisal, if you're going to pay for legal fees, we're better off doing the settlement right away compared to paying, X amount of dollars and maybe not even getting a favorable decision, looking at all the evidence, so.
And further point to that, if there was a substantial enough reduction, then the respondent, the town of Aurora, could have been exposed to some penalties as well as the term you use. Yeah, costs associated with the litigation, if it's greater than 50%.
So potentially there'd be a refund, interest, and some sort of additional penalty on top of that. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying? Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
So all those fees, but where did we, and not really 100% sure, where did we end up in the spectrum on, was it more in favor of the property or more in favor of the town? Where did we end up in the spectrum?
We ended up where the indicated market value was. So it was neither in favor of the town or in favor of the respondent. It was a
So it was
question of
100%
the perceived
based on
market
that.
value.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
No, I mean, these are an unpleasant cost of doing business, right? This is the way it goes. Thank you all for your time and sharing the information with the community.
Yep.
Really helpful.
And I'm glad there's people who want to be assessors when they grow up, because it sounds terrible.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you both.
They're not liked at different times of the year.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. 6B, which is a highway amendment. Can I have a motion to approve the budget amendment request as follows? 2 pieces of highway equipment were purchased and received in 2025, but recorded in 2026. After recording the actual entry, the appropriation line is over budget for year end. Can I have a motion to decrease line DB 599 fund balance by $338,278.54 and increase appropriation line DB 5130.217 equipment purchase by $338,278.54?
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion?
Just want to mention, these are big numbers, but it's just because some equipment showed up in 2025 that we expect to show up in 2026. It was all
Yes.
budgeted for and part of our equipment rotation
We
plan.
knew it was coming and we planned on it. It just said it
Got here ahead of schedule.
a little bit
Yep.
goofed up in the. Any other comments?
No, we're good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to approve the listed travel and registration expenses to allow Councilmember Jessica Armbrust to attend the New York Association of Towns Seminar in Albany on May 5th, 6th, and 7th?
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion?
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you for
Taking the time.
taking these seminars
I
on
am
it.
so excited to dig into personnel.
We
policy.
didn't vote yet. You might want to hold off
Yeah,
on your
that's
thank
true.
yous.
No, I got to,
Jamming all that knowledge in.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a petition with 65 residents from Luther who have signed this petition from Luther Road, Mitchell, and Snyder Road, requesting to improve the safety of the road. So can I have a motion to approve requesting a traffic safety study for Luther and Snyder Roads to the County Department of Public Works, which will then also get passed on to the New York State Department of Transportation?
so moved.
Go ahead.
Oh,
I'll make that motion.
you make that motion.
The Snyder.
Can I have a second?
Mayor, I would like to second. that
Second by
motion.
Jess. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a motion to approve, and can I have a motion to approve an increase in our hourly rate for our grant writer from $70 per hour to $73.50, a 5% increase. Our grant consultant, Robert Drake, does a great job for us, and this will not affect the budget because we have a set line for the budget. It's just the hourly rate that she's going to increase that pay, just to let everyone know that, so it has no effect on the budget. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second?
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a request from me. Can I have a motion to approve the supervisor's appointment of Joseph McCann as deputy supervisor effective today, April 13th, 2026, until the year end? I'll make that motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion? Thank you for stepping up, Joe. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the offer, and I'll rise to the challenge, I promise. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, Chuck.
It's
You
just
will
one more
rise.
thing that takes up your time.
Exactly. That's all right. What's time anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will
you
rise
for
to the
taking it on.
occasion, you always do.
Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next is an appointment to the Open Space Committee. I'll turn this over to Ray.
Yeah, we'd like to appoint Mike Raleigh to the Open Space Committee. He's been with us most of last year and participated on an informal basis. Dale Moore's retired from the position, and so we have an opening, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mike Raleigh for that opening.
So moved. Would you like a second? You
I'll
want me to
second.
do that part?
What's
Yeah.
Can I have a second?
Jess?
I second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion?
And we do have another opening, so we will be placing an ad for anyone that might be interested in working on the Open Space Committee.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next.
Are those are two, you got touching mics, is that's not, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's the ghost.
Let's turn that one off. I'll turn that one off, and if someone comes down, we'll just have
The
to
Open Space Committee,
turn it back on.
the Open Space Committee, what we do is, in the past, we have acquired a number of open space areas and added that to the portfolio of the town. And now we're working on improving and also connecting those spaces. So things like Mills Road Overlook, Owens Falls, Majors Park in the past. So all those areas, what we found in the comprehensive plan is this town is blessed with the number of open spaces we have, parks, recreation areas, and so forth. So the mission now is to ensure the fact that we preserve it. We approved last year the spraying of the hemlock trees at JP Nicely. So the next step is to ensure the fact that the spraying that was done that will last 3 to 7 years, we can take it to the next step to ensure that it's going to be preserved for a much longer period of time. So, are you interested? Very good.
Thank you, Ray.
All right, thanks.
Next on the agenda, can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement with the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation? This is regarding revenue bonds refunds.
It's been me the whole time. Somebody else go.
So moved.
And I will
Motion by
second.
Jess, second by Ray. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next. Can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor and the town clerk to sign the corporate authorization resolution with the Bank of Holland, which is which is removing Luke, past councilmember Waschinsky, as a signer.
So moved.
Motion by Ray, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Joe, comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And next is the Open Space Committee resolution, and I'll turn that over to Ray.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the Town of Aurora Open Space Plan 2026. There are 8 whereases, and I'm going to jump over those and get down to the meat of the matter. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Aurora formally adopt the 2026 Open Space Plan as a guiding document to preserve, protect, and enhance the town's open spaces, ensuring that their environmental, recreational, and cultural value for current and future generations. And be it further resolved that the Town of Aurora will continue to prioritize acquisition, protection, and connectivity of open spaces, actively seeking partnerships with conservation organizations, and encourage community involvement in the stewardship of the town's natural heritage. And be it finally resolved that the Town of Aurora reaffirms its commitment to maintaining the high quality of life for its residents by investing in park maintenance, improving accessibility, and fostering sustainable and connected open space network.
Proud to make that motion.
I happily second.
Okay, motion by Joe, second by Jess. Any comments or discussion?
No, and that, once we have that approved, then we will be posting it to the open space portion of the website. There is the 2010 open space plan, and this will be a refinement of that. It's a little simpler and it's a little more straightforward.
Great work.
Yes. Thank you for the work.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, Chuck.
Next is our fireworks. Can I have a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement with Skylighters of New York for $18,300? And I want to just note that these funds are all raised and donated. This is not a town-funded fund. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Motion by Jess. Can I have a second?
Second?
Second by Ray. Comments or discussion?
Great.
This is a 4% increase, which I thought in the end of it, we did pretty good. Because,
Yeah, I thought it would be more than that.
yeah, when I
Yeah.
first talked to him, he says, I don't know, because of the tariffs, and he says it might be 12%, might be 20%.
That's
but-
good.
Nice, excellent.
Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is a request from Chris. Can I have a motion to approve a request from the Rural Outreach Center to use the pool as they did last year, once a week during the open hours from July 9th to August 13th at $50 a day?
So moved.
Motion by Joe, can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, can I have a motion to appoint Jeannie Vaget as the marriage officiant for the Town of Aurora?
So moved.
Motion by Ray. Can I have a second?
Second?
Second by Joe. Comments or discussion?
If you ever get married again, I'll make sure you marry me.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
How does she qualify?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And 6M. Can I have a motion to approve hosting Anton Slobodin, an East Aurora High School student senior for 3 weeks from the Ormsby Educational Facility to work with our building department. Right now, he's studying engineering and drafting, and he's expected to begin Monday, April 30th, be in their office from 8 a.m. to 10.
So moved.
Motion by Joe. Can I have a second?
Second.
Second by Jess. Comments or discussion?
He is a high-energy individual and a great kid. You guys are going to have a lot of
Yes,
fun.
yeah, I'm really excited. He
Yeah.
called me today. I was his first call. He had a couple others to make, but then he circled back to see if he could come in and spend some time in our office. We don't often get interns. We did have one in 2024. and from the same program. Yeah, so we do occasionally have an intern, and they will get their insurance certificates from Ormsby, but it's a fun experience to have a student down
No
there.
question.
Thanks for opening up your office to that. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Happy
That's
to.
wonderful.
Yeah,
And I
especially
apologize
on
for
the student.
probably not pronouncing his name correct.
Close enough.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under communications and reports, I have the February 2026 tax report updated from the town clerk. And then I have the March 2026 report from the town clerk, the March 2026 report from the town clerk. All of these are March 2026. The town clerk water report, the senior center report, highway report calls and complaints, highways dog control report, and the supervisor's report. Business from board members and liaisons, and we'll start with Deputy Supervisor Joseph McCann.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. Aye, aye, Captain. Everybody's familiar, I'm sure, with the situation with the Alma water. It wasn't our system, but it did affect a number of our residents along the Alma border. We have an agreement with Code Red. They were compromised. They had some sort of intrusion, and they switched over in an on-solve service. When we attempted to use it, we did send out notifications, but we found it didn't go to everybody it was supposed to. Their offerings seem to have diminished a little bit when they switched over to OnSolve. So we are actively involved in finding a new tool to alert residents when such things happen. So you know who has to boil water and who doesn't. That will be forthcoming as soon as possible. We'll get the word out for the new sign up, and we'll make sure we're as proactive in that as we can be. So thank you.
Good work.
Jess?
Thank you. I'm stealing our thunder. Councilman Brazel and I both attended 2 safety trainings in recent weeks. The first was for community members at the senior center, which was very helpful in a packed room. So appreciate the folks who put that on and provided starter kits, go bags for residents, and all the information and resources for what to put in them. One for your home, one for your car, one if you're stuck in your home in case of weather or other emergency.
Right.
That was very helpful.
Or water.
Water, yes. For example, I think somebody may have used up all of his emergency supplies.
Emergency water, yeah.
And then we got to participate along with our clerk and our code enforcement officer at the DLAM training, which is very interesting to see that system at work and what we have access to. There's a lot of opportunity there to see what is going on in other communities. It's just a great tool for area-wide communication in case of emergency or need of lighting for an event or bottled water.
Or bottled water.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. It was kind, go ahead.
No, no.
Sorry. It was kind of curious that we did go to those 2 training sessions.
Yeah.
And then my neck of the woods was part of the Elma water issue. So we ended up using probably over the 2.5, 3 days, 20 gallons of water. So it does really point to the issues that you have when you have an emergency like that and being prepared. So if that training session happens again here in town, I highly recommend taking it. It was very informative, gave you a lot of information, a lot of things to think about in order to ensure the fact that your family is safe, including your pets. You don't think necessarily about that, ensuring the fact that you have extra medications, you have water, but what about your pets? So that was good. After that, and like I said, my area of the town was one of the ones affected. I did talk to Mark Hartley. I mentioned to him that, we went through that, the amount of, water that we had to use, and maybe what would be a good idea is to have a debrief based on the situation that we have, the communication. The next day, we talked about the Code Red, excuse me, about the Code Red and getting the information out. Because my neighbors, that was the biggest thing that they had an issue with, that they didn't have up-to-date information. I mean, we caught up to that, but they weren't really sure. Like, I went to bed that night thinking that we weren't affected. So it'd be good for us to, what were the things that went right, what were the things that went wrong, and then account for those going forward. So I told him I'd be happy to help with that, and he really appreciated the call and the discussion. Second thing, as far as open space committee that we're working on, is the natural resource inventory. We're planning on doing, several of us from the open space committee is going to be going to meet with the climate smart people, show them what we have, because it's one of the things that we can use to get more points to get the silver status in the climate smart certification. So we're going to meet with them on Wednesday, I believe the meeting is, and then present what we have and where we're at. So a lot of activity going on. And that's it.
Thank you. Marie? I just want to mention that I had a meeting with our webmaster, Rob Goller, and he mentioned that coming up very soon, one of the requirements for our meetings and website is to become more ADA compliant, which means that one of the biggest things is less acronyms and trying to explain what those acronyms are, because we use them often and we know, but not everybody knows. And things like DLAN, well, you know what that stands for? Disaster Local Area Network. And, you know, like as I was saying in the beginning with Seeker and the, you know, so on and so forth. So, and also the other part is, this will probably take me a little bit of time to get used to this because it's been a while, like years since I haven't, but when we address board members and department heads, that we need to say, okay, Code Enforcement Officer Liz Cassidy, not just Liz. Hey, Liz, okay, Liz, what's up? Well, we know who Liz is, but not everyone does. So we'll try to start working on that a little bit as time goes on, and maybe by the time it's in effect, we'll have it down a little bit better.
I will do that, Supervisor Snyder.
Okay. All right, next is audience two, an opportunity to address the town concerns or topics. Please step up to the mic, turn that back on, and give us your name and address.
I don't know if anybody's coming, Chuck.
Oh, really?
Is anybody going to talk before Chuck runs out and turns the microphone on?
I've got something.
Oh, there you go.
No, I won't come, I guess.
Twice?
I won't take much of your time.
Maybe I'll accidentally leave it off.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you came and turned it on. Excuse me, I'm not even gonna sit down. Jackie Heinrich, 408 Snyder Road. I am presenting to the board tonight, I'll hand it to Chuck or Janine, whoever you wish, a petition opposing the proposed subdivision that was filed to the building department last year in June. I know nothing has transpired since then, that I'm being told through my foils. So as far as the discussion, there's nothing to discuss at this point. But should it move forward, you have a fight on your hands. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
How you doing? Joe Quinn, 1224 East Main Street, East Aurora, the town of Aurora. I don't know if everybody on the town board is aware of what's going on down there, so should I enlighten them? Does everybody know what's happening? My main question is, we've been down the road with this situation already. So now they changed the name of what they want to put in there, and it's basically the same thing. My main question, I also was going through the zoning code and whatnot, the state zoning code. Can you explain to me what spot zoning means? Is that a law, or what is it?
This isn't a question and answer period.
Okay.
You can address the board with whatever your comments are. And
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, what's going on down there is to benefit a developer, and it's a spot zoning situation. Okay, when the other person took the place over, the Cardia Health lady, okay, she got clearance originally, her original clearance was to operate the business out of the home, and it was going to be her and a few other people, okay, under the same lawyer that's representing the second lady, this Mr. Sorgi. My question is, when she got the approval, the next step she took was they moved it out of the house, they went into the barn. They're operating the medical business out of the barn. They built a 20-plus car parking lot back there, okay? So that's what she's currently doing. When she sold it to this Carner Development, and the Carner Development took it over, probably, I think it was maybe a year ago now, close to it, okay? The agreement was Cardia Health lady was supposed to be living there. She no longer lives there, okay? So you got a developer that basically doesn't care what she does. So when she got her application submitted for the hotel complex, when the first time we shut them down through the zoning, she said she will do whatever the code allows her. So basically, the project that she submitted, it's the same project, it's just changed the name. They went from a hotel wedding complex to a campground lodge. So to me, the whole thing is just kind of smoke and mirrors. So the last meeting I wasn't able to attend when it was in the planning board. The planning board, their main contention was, oh, she's here to save this building, so this makes sense. But to me, it doesn't make sense. And the other question I had was, okay, Cardia Health continues to operate this business there, okay, with where she's not supposed to be. The developer knows it. So what else is she going to do? Then she's going to turn this place into a campsite. Cardia says she's staying there, so you're going to have multiple commercial businesses on this property. I just don't get it. You know, that's my contention. And I know that it's got to go back to the planning board, then it's going to come back to you. We had like 70 people that signed the petition that are against this whole situation. So people kind of think that they're on a merry-go-round. That's my situation. You know, and then when this Mr. Sorgi at the last meeting, okay, the planning board would not pin him down to anything, you know, in writing of where's the parking lot going? How many cars is going to park there? What's going in this lodge? Everything was vague. So I'm just giving you a heads up that people aren't going to just lay down and say, hey, oh, this is great. So right now, the developer's out of compliance. I don't think she's going to care. You know, once she gets her foot in the door, I think all bets are off. That's my opinion. So, and the other thing is I think that's quite a stretch when you call something a hotel, now all of a sudden you change it to a campground. So I don't know where the town board sits as far as if they can't get involved in something until it's presented to them. I don't understand how everything all works. But a lot of people ask me questions, and I don't know how to answer them because I don't know all the rules and the loopholes and everything else. The other thing is like I said, everything is directly right next door to me. And whatever happens there, I'm going to be stuck with it, you know, and nobody seems to, you know, make a determination. Their determination was the planning board, their main approval for this situation was, oh, it makes good use of the home. Where the home is in the rural residential area. It's not even in this part that she wants to get this approved for. So that's pretty much what I got to say. So
I just want to let you know that there is a process for this, and it is in our town code, if you want to look that process up. It is going back to the planning board sometime very soon, so if you want to keep your eye out on the town website for that agenda. Their meetings are always the first Wednesday, unless they have a special meeting, but the first Monday of each month, so. Okay.
Question for you, though, is what I'm wondering is, as far as the planning board, they're their own entity. You guys don't get involved with what they think is proper, what they don't think is proper?
They're an advisory board.
Okay, so, they're an advisory board. So as of right now, like I said, they're out of compliance, and I don't know what else they're going to do, you know? So I mean, multiple commercial businesses operating out of one property that's considered agricultural, I don't see it. So that's pretty much where I stand. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Anyone else?
Hello,
Hi.
Sue Resiter at Snyder Road. I just wanted to piggyback on Jackie Heinrich's submission of the petition for development, possible development. I was one of 3 that went around and got all the signatures on there, from Davis, Snyder, Luther, Mitchell. I did not speak, and I won't speak for anybody, but I didn't speak to anybody who was for that. For many reasons, lots of concerns. But I just want to go on record because that parcel directly affects my husband and our property on 2 sides. So I just want to make sure that I go on record with that petition as well as my signature to say that we are highly opposed to that. And so are many of the neighbors on all 4 of those streets. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to staff reports, and we'll start with Chief Welch.
Over at the police department, we have a May 2nd Coffee with a Cop at McDonald's. McDonald's reached out and wanted to do some community outreach. So they will be providing coffee at McDonald's and a chance to speak with your local police officers on May 2nd at McDonald's. So I invite you, board members and community members, to come to that. I don't know how many people can fit inside a McDonald's, but since they're the ones hosting it, that's where it'll be. So that's to start. As far as Code Red goes, I was out of town during the water shortage, but I was being notified about some of the frustration with the messages getting out. And I think what's important to think about moving forward is a platform that truly reaches just about everybody. You know, Code Red is great as long as you subscribe or the company has your information. But one thing I've noticed, especially with the department's Facebook, is you're only as good as the folks you're reaching. So I guess the big hurdle we have from emergency services standpoint going forward is how do we contact as many people as possible? And I don't know if there's an option that we maybe add to the tax bill where we offer people, hey, look, if you want to be contacted, write down, how you'd like to be contacted or what it would be. But the more people we can reach when we're in a blizzard or when water's out or whatever, the better those public address systems can be. I'm up to about 9,000 followers on Facebook, which is great, but I think our population's pushing 15,000, and I'd say half of those 9,000 probably don't even live in East Aurora. They just like to harass me on Facebook. So hopefully we can come up with a good way to reach more people. And finally, I feel obligated to speak on this because I've been here 20 years and I have been a patrolman, a detective, and a lieutenant, and now the chief of police. And I've patrolled the town of Aurora, and I've patrolled the village of East Aurora, and I've patrolled Snyder Road, and I've sat in your driveways on Snyder Road. Jackie's been talking about speeding on Snyder Road for the 20 years I've been here. And unfortunately, rarely do we have folks that we can cite. I have cited people on Snyder Road, but what we have is an issue out there with the speed limit. Not necessarily a speed problem, but a speed limit problem. And I fully support the town board asking for a speed study out there and a traffic study. And I fully support lowering the speed limit because it will make it so that the officers from the police department can actually cite folks. Right now with a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, I won't give you the magic number, but I can tell you what the town court will prosecute at. And I can tell you that 50s aren't going to be prosecuted. So what we have to do is get the speed limit lower to be able to enforce the problem that you're facing.
Thank you. Thank you.
One quick question, Chief. What time does the event start at McDonald's?
We're working on that. They have a publicist, the whole deal. My only requirement was that the Hamburglar and Grimace got to be there, so we'll see.
It'll be your chance to catch the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
You've been after that guy for years.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to hotcakes and sausage. I haven't had them in years, so.
There you go. Thank you, Chief. Code Enforcement Officer Cassidy?
Okay, you mentioned earlier, Supervisor Snyder, that the comprehensive plan has been adopted, and the group that's been working on updating the codes, which you read through a whole bunch of tonight, is beginning the process of evaluating our existing code, not just the zoning, but the other sections, and beginning to adapt it towards our comprehensive plan. So that process is in its infant stages, but it's moving forward. The other thing I wanted to let you know that on March 31st, that you may all remember, we had a significant rain event. I didn't hear of any, I heard of one today, basement flooded on Quaker Road. I didn't hear of anything in the town, but we did have a house in the village get flooded, and so we had to do a post flood evaluation on that structure to determine the percentage of damage, and that process is nearing its completion today. But based on the changes in the flood maps, people who are in the 500-year floodplain, just as a reminder, do have to build to those flood standards going forward from today as well. So, so we'll be busy in the future. This was our first rain event that hasn't been associated with a snow melt and ice damming on Tannery Brook. But I anticipate that we'll see those heavier events going forward. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Liz. Planning Board Chairman Doug Crow.
For me today.
Zoning Board Chairman Paul Ernst.
Nothing from the zoning board. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Joe, second by Jess. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.